Yeah. Hey, everybody. How are you doing this evening? Good to see everyone. So exciting. We finally had some nice weather out there, which was nice. And I guess the rest of this week is going to be beautiful. So time to get outside, get the kiddos outside, which is going to be awesome. Tonight, we got some special guests. We're going to speak to a young family that has a son with Down syndrome, and we're just going to kind of talk about their journey, kind of where they've been and their supports that they've had, and how they first went through their initial diagnosis. Just some good information about that. But first, before we start, I know many of you know we did the Night to Shine, which is the Tim Tebow Foundation. And the ladies that spearhead this out in Richmond Hill First Baptist, did a wonderful job. And this year, they were only able to do what they called a shine through. So we kind of got the van gussied up, and we have others that went through. So I prepared a little video for everyone to see. So let's go to that first.
Wait, over here too. I am. Oh, I see that football inside. Mr. John, Miss Teddy. This is fantastic.
So that's just a little taste of the night. We had a wonderful time. The weather was a little bit rainy at first, but then it kind of cleared up. And the best part is that Lainey had a wonderful time. They had all kinds of volunteers, the cheerleaders, the football team, all kinds of people out there just cheering and were excited. And they were treated as the kings and queens that they are. So just thank you to that whole organization and all the people that were involved. It was a wonderful event. So next, we have three special guests. So Adrian and Josh Vinings are their new family, and their son Easton. And we're going to bring them on. Hold on one second.
Look at Look.
Oh, good evening.
Easton, look. Hey.
Hey, Easton, how are you, big boy?
Say hey.
So good to see you. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Nice to be
It's been
here.
wonderful. And I've got to brag on you because many of you know this year we had our virtual buddy walk, and y'all were one of the top fundraisers with all the people that kind of got behind you and got behind the team, and that was so awesome.
Yeah, we had so much fun participating. We hated it was virtual this year, but we're still excited we got to participate.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hopefully getting to meet you guys down there in Savannah.
Now, have y'all done a regular buddy walk before?
No, we haven't. This was our first year doing that. My sister participated with Caitlin Fears.
Oh yeah,
she participated with their team, but we've never actually gotten to do it before. So
yeah. Well, it's quite an event. I mean, it's great that this idea that we're all one family and we all can get together and share in our everything from things that are difficult to things that are awesome.
yeah.
And it's just great for that day. But anyways, I asked you to get on this because just there's some caretakers out there. There are physicians that see this, and there are new families. We've got a new family that's going to have a child here soon. So I just wanted to talk to you about, for when you were initially pregnant. This is your first child.
Yes, sir.
Only child, I should say. And when did you find out about his having Down syndrome?
Okay. Let's see. We started out. We were at a regular OBGYN in Statesboro, and we went for a few ultrasounds. Everything checked out wonderfully. Had some blood work done. We were going to figure out the gender a little early, and she called us back and said there was a high probability. This was about 12 weeks. We were 12 weeks along, and she said there was a high probability that he had trisomy 21. And so we were then sent on to the high-risk doctors in Savannah. And then we had you hear? He's putting his input in. Then we had a amniocentesis done at 16 weeks. And then they gave us the confirmed diagnosis. So I think it was right at 16 weeks.
Yeah. So, everybody that approached you, I spoke to you a little bit about this, and we've had some people that have had difficult conversations with caregivers, and what was your initial reaction, and what was kind of the first steps that you took when you found out?
I was just scared. I mean, let's just be honest, we were scared.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear anything, especially, your first child, just kind of new and exciting. You're a little bit nervous about it anyway. And I think honestly, we were really scared. I don't know how she felt. I mean, it's obviously different for her since she's carrying too. So
yeah. Definitely scared, nervous, anxious, and I guess, at first we were a little upset, and just not what you really expected to hear, or not what we really wanted to hear. But that was kind of our initial reaction. Now we couldn't imagine our lives without Easton. So awesome. It's been a blessing. I guess it was a blessing in disguise for sure. So
yeah, I talk to a lot of people, and they have that. It's the journey's a little bit different, right? That we have, I think, certain expectations of what a child is going to be like, and then you hear this, and because you don't know, it kind of just throws you for a loop. But we found that when we met other people and when we talked to them, that kind of eased our fears a little bit.
For sure.
And I think with faith too, you listen, if this is what we're going to deal with together, and that's what we're going to deal with, and that helps the journey as well.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without our faith, without that, I don't know that we could have made it through for sure. So
yeah. I always tell people it probably strengthened our marriage, and now we think it's kind of silly that we worried that much because we wouldn't want our life to be any different than how it is.
And that's kind of what we were talking about. We had a weekend together not so long ago, and we were saying we couldn't imagine our lives without Easton now, and and just how close it's brought us together and closer to God. So it's definitely been a blessing.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your birth. I think I got a picture here. This is when you were pregnant, and then is this the day of?
Yep, that's right after he was born. He was so tiny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And this is soon after too, right?
Yeah, that was a newborn.
Yeah. So precious.
We were,
Yeah, we delivered just a little bit early. We were going back and forth between here and Savannah a good bit towards the end. He delivered it right at, I think, about 37 weeks. And it was, honestly, it didn't last long. Labor, she was in, I think, 12 hours, I think it was. And, when he came, honestly, we were very fortunate. We didn't have to go to the NICU or anything. He came out really, really healthy.
Awesome.
I guess we were actually home within, I think, 2 days. So it was, we far exceeded what we kind of expected going in. We kind of had to, they told us to pack our bags, be ready to stay for a while. Sorry, he wanted to knock the camera.
That's okay.
See if I can get that back up there. But, but yeah, I mean, honestly, the pregnancy and the birth, everything went really, really smoothly, and we had a lot of good doctors in the world to help us. So
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently in the beginning portion, and kind of what helped, the transition in care for him, and thinking about therapists and that idea?
I wish we would have known what we know now. Well, I wish we would have known that then. I don't think we would have been quite so anxious or worried or scared.
Yeah.
I think we were just worried about the unknown, or and they kind of gave us worst case scenario at the beginning, and so we were all over the place at first.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more we learned about it, and the more we did some reading and talking to other people, some other families, definitely did a lot of praying and just got more comfortable with everything and at peace with everything, and so that kind of helped us definitely a lot. And then as far as with the therapy and stuff, we started really early with that. Our pediatrician pushed for early intervention. They say early intervention is key.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so she definitely helped us get in with that. We started right off the bat. I think he was right at maybe 4 months old, and so he's been getting therapy ever since then.
Working the legs and
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotta get going. I was like, 4 months old, he don't even. But it's been a blessing. We're very fortunate and very blessed to have some really good therapists that we work with, and he has made a lot of progress through that. So
Yeah. So, kind of circling back before we go on, if you were speaking to your former selves before he was born, what would you say now? So there's a couple out there that's pregnant. They're 6 months from having their child. Knowing what you know, what advice would you give?
let's see. It's definitely going to be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like
the worry is so much. Like you put so much stress on yourself worrying about it than it actually is. And I know it's that way with a lot of things, but I think for us, we were so stressed for so long, and finally we were able to just kind of let it go and relax. And I wish we would have done that a little bit sooner. Mm-hmm. Just kind of just give it all to God and just be at peace with it. And that's the best advice I can give somebody.
And that's easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think that is how we grow, that we go through trials like this, and then we see, if you lean into what the situation is, that sometimes, it's helped me be a better father. With my sons, it's helped me be a better dad, a better husband, a better servant. It's I think those trials in life really form you and shape you.
And I also, like I was telling somebody the other day, not too long ago, that we probably wouldn't necessarily pick this, or we wouldn't have chosen this as first-time parents, of course. But now looking back, we we couldn't see our lives any other way without Easton. So
yeah.
I think through a lot of prayer and definitely leaning on each other. That's definitely a big part. And I wish, although we got there, I wish we would have gotten there sooner. But initially it is very, it's tough.
Support of the family was a really big thing too. We have a really close family. She has a very large family, and I think that helped us out tremendously as well.
Yeah. As you're talking, I'm going to put some pictures up that Miss Adrian
that was our first. I think that was our World Down Syndrome Day on 3/20.
Yeah, that's awesome. These are also good. See, that's tongue therapy right there.
Yeah,
right? Tongue control.
He found his tongue right there. I think that's the weekend he started sticking his tongue out.
Oh, that is so awesome.
And then that's when he turned a year old.
That's 1 year old. So sweet.
And that's a picture of me and Easton after I got. That was in actually in October.
Yeah.
during Down Syndrome Awareness Month.
Yeah.
You okay, Brian?
I love your tattoo. Would
Yeah,
you
that's
explain?
one. I saw it. I saw somebody with it. I think it was on Instagram. I've done a lot of stuff on Instagram with Down syndrome. Met with a lot of mutual families and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that they were getting this tattoo, what they were calling the Lucky Few tattoo, with the three
Yeah.
arrows to represent the trisomy 21 and the ability to rise up. So that's kind of that. And I've always said if I was going to get a tattoo, it would definitely have to be something that meant something to me, and that's definitely a big part of our lives. So
Yeah. That's so great. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about support that you received. This is a picture of the virtual buddy walk in Metter
yes,
with all of your friends and family there, which is awesome.
yes, we've gotten a lot of support, especially from our families. I don't know that we could do it without them. They've always been there to help us when we need. We work full time, and so my parents who are retired, they're able to keep him every day. They help us take him to doctor's appointments and his therapies, and they've helped us do like the virtual videos since the pandemic. They will get on there and meet with his therapist or the Babies Can't Wait representatives and things. And so they've been very supportive, as well as our community. When we did the buddy walk and did the fundraiser and stuff, they were very generous and very just always willing to support and just to let us know that they were there for us, spreading awareness and just helping support Easton and the rest of the Down Syndrome Society.
Yeah. I know you talked about you wouldn't change a thing as far as your family's concerned. What type of impact do you think he's had if he were not here, but since he is, that he's had on like your mom and dad, your brothers and sisters? Speak a little bit about that too.
I think I can say probably for both our families, he brings a lot of happiness and joy, so much love. You can't hardly be around him or see him without just smiling and just overflowing with joy. It's hard to explain unless you've actually been around him or any person with Down syndrome. But
he's always in a good mood, no matter what time of day. If it's 5 o'clock in the morning or if it's 10 o'clock at night, he's always in a great mood, and that's the first thing everybody kind of says about it. Like, he's always in such a good mood. He rarely cries. I mean, he's been a great baby. I really have.
And I also do a lot of I share him a lot on Facebook and Instagram. And so he's Facebook famous. That's what they always say. And so I enjoy sharing him for sure. But just people that see him on Facebook, they say that he brightens their day every day when they see his picture or when they see a video of him, and that they love following his journey, and that they always, if they're having a bad day, he always brings some happiness and light to their bad day. So, and I feel like especially during this year with the pandemic and all, we've had a lot of tough times and stuff, and so I feel like he has definitely brought a lot of happiness and joy, to others, even beyond just our family. So.
Yeah. What do you think it's changed family members? I know before we had our daughter, I don't know if I would have been as involved as I am. Obviously, God put you in that situation, and so you become involved. But I know, like my mom and dad, and how my family has reacted in general, just how it's changed them and their hearts towards those that have different abilities or that need someone to come along beside them. It really is true. Even in her classroom, in Lainey's classroom, there are kids that are just born to be nurturing.
Yes.
And, you worry about kids, maybe bullying or picking on her, but there are certain kids that are fierce defenders, and, they have that heart that are going to be future doctors, future therapists, future, which has always amazed me how that works.
Yes. I feel like it has definitely, Easton coming along has definitely raised a lot of awareness within our family. I feel like some of our family and friends may not have been, so aware or, didn't really know much about it or, never really been around anybody with Down syndrome. And so I feel like he has definitely opened a lot of doors for us to be able to educate and show the uniqueness and how awesome Down syndrome is.
Yeah, that's so great. This is a picture of your family, which is so
Yeah,
sweet.
that's us.
That's so awesome.
That is.
And so I want to talk a little bit about your journey with his surgery
Uh-huh.
and how you found out about that, and how the doctors, how you kind of determined what course you were going to take, and then the surgery.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think of one, because he's had three already, three surgeries. He's had an eye surgery. We had to do a small, he had to get some tubes put in his ears because he was holding drainage a little bit. And then he had another abdomen surgery as well. But we've kind of knew going in that we'd have some things that we were going to face. So just by constantly just going through checkups with his local doctor here, we just kind of, as things have came up, we just kind of planned accordingly and took care of them, I guess.
He will have to have, he has a ABSD, so he has a heart defect that he was born with.
Mm-hmm.
They told us that at about 16 weeks as well, too, that they knew he had a heart defect. And so we've been following the cardiologist since he was in utero. So we've been doing that since probably about 24 weeks. And they do echocardiograms and all that on him. It's really amazing at what all they can do. They were looking at his heart through my belly. So it was really neat. And then they've continued to do that since he's been born. And now we've actually reached to the point where we only have to follow up once a year. They said his hole has gotten a little bit smaller, and that he shouldn't need any surgical intervention on his heart until the age of 3. So we're looking to that and continuing to pray for that, because I know that's going to be a big one. But he has had, like he said, some minor surgeries since he was born.
Yeah, we actually have had some members that have had children that have had that same surgery.
Uh-huh.
So it might be good to put you in contact with them.
For sure, because I know we'll
talk about
maybe another time we'll be a nervous wreck, but
Sure.
Right.
that's just nerve wracking for sure. But
are you doing most of your doctor's appointments in Savannah? Are you typically?
Between Augusta and Savannah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're constantly moving between those because we're small town. We don't have a lot of medical facilities around here that kind of specialize in
Sure.
that area. So we do have to travel a good bit.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have a lot of help from her mother. Like she said, being retired, she's been able to help us out tremendously with a lot of those.
Which is awesome.
It is, and Adrian now, she's not working on Friday, so we were able to kind of make our schedule around that as well. So it's tough. It is tough making all the appointments and the schedules and everything. So we got to give a big shout out to her mother for sure. She's been a great blessing for us and had a lot of help.
Josh, you're saying all the right words as a son-in-law.
That's right.
Is he trying to get brownie points?
That's right.
Hey,
That's what I'm trying to do.
give praise when it's needed, right? Yeah. So what is this? What in this little picture here? Where was this at?
That was actually his last surgical procedure when he had the tubes put in. They put him to sleep for that, and it was a quick, simple procedure. They were gonna actually, I will say this, they were gonna try to. He needs another hearing test. He passed the one at birth, but they wanted him to have a repeated one when he turned a year old, and so they were gonna do the hearing test with the tubes, but they weren't able to get it lined up. So he just had his tubes put in there, and that was just earlier this month. Actually, he had that done. So and he's done really well after all of his surgeries. He hasn't had any post-op complications or anything. So we've been very blessed with that as well.
Yeah, he has the temperament of a toddler.
Yeah,
he don't like
Which is great. Yeah.
He's reached his time limit, I believe.
Yeah.
Throw some toys at him.
All right, hold on.
That's fine.
Keep the camera for a minute.
This is what life is like with a
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We go off of his schedule.
That's funny.
Here you go, baby. Want this? Want that? No. Okay.
All right.
All right. There you go.
This is his hungry time.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is that I was just talking to a guy today, and they were talking about adopting a child. And I said to my wife, I said, the idea of being up at night and feeding babies again, I couldn't do it. You know,
Y'all had
for
two
the
at
young.
one time.
It's for the young. Yeah, exactly. So what's this little picture here?
That's just his most recent picture. He was actually we were getting ready to go to church. We hadn't been able to go to church very much just with the whole pandemic thing, and so we finally said we'll go and just kind of keep our distance and all, and so we took him, and you can see how happy he was to get back into church.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about so he does all his therapies locally, obviously in Metter.
He goes to he actually goes to, so we're in Metter, and we're very limited on what we have in Metter because it's just a small town, but he does go to Statesboro to the therapy spot. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That is actually his physical therapist, Miss Carly. And he gets physical therapy, he gets occupational therapy, and then he gets speech therapy. But with the speech therapy, they also work on his feeding. So it's kind of like a feeding therapy too. And so he gets a little bit of it all.
Wow. So for new parents, explain the difference between those things.
Okay,
physical therapy versus occupational therapy and what he actually does.
So with physical therapy, that's more of your gross motor movements. So that's like learning to roll over, sit up, crawl, walk, those kinds of things, like your gross motor stuff. And then with that, that's what they work on him with. They try to work on getting his trunk or his core stronger so that he's able to stand and walk and things like that. He's actually, he crawls very well, and he's beginning to stand and holding on to furniture. He's furniture walking, but he's not taking any steps yet. So they're working really hard on with that. With occupational therapy, that's more of your fine motor movements. And so they're doing more because he's a younger child. There's not really too much they can do, but it's more with the fine motor movements. So with his hands and all. So they're teaching him to grasp and pick up. He actually made me a birthday card. They helped to make me a birthday card on my birthday, and just cool things like that. They chase bubbles, and he tries to catch bubbles and things like that. So they're always coming up with something fun and unique for him to do. That's another one of him working on trying to build his core right there. The speech therapist, she does tries to work on him with different vowel sounds and different sounds and techniques and ways to make him mimic what we say. And then she also works on him with his feeding, because feeding is a big thing. She's working on getting him used to eating solid foods and learning to drink out of a straw or a cup, or an open cup. We're still on a bottle. We love a bottle.
We're having a little trouble trying to get off that bottle.
He definitely wants the bottle, so we're working on that.
15 months old now?
Sir,
how old is he? 15 months?
He is 16 months old.
16 months, okay.
Yeah, so we're working, but we're just kind of letting him go at his pace, but kind of trying to introduce it, here along the way. So
yeah, that's awesome.
The good thing with the therapist is they always they give us things to work on at home. So he only goes one time a week right now, and each session they're always telling us this is what you can work on at home, so that way he's not only getting therapy one day a week here, but he can get it several days during the week at home as well. So we try to do a little bit at home here and there to work with him so that it's always fresh on his mind.
Yeah, awesome. So lastly, I kind of want to ask you, and I think I told you I was going for you to think about this, but what do you think about as far as your dreams and hopes and aspirations for him, as through school, after school, kind of, your thoughts?
We definitely, I think I speak for both of us. We definitely want him to be, always treated the same as any other child. We want him to have, a fair opportunity, a fair chance at living a fulfilling and productive life, doing whatever it is that he wants to do, whether it be, in sports or hunting, fishing, whatever it is that, he desires to do. We just hope that he's always given that same opportunity, the same chance. We also hope that, he will become, a contributing part of our community, and where his dreams and values are looked at the same as anybody else's. We just want the very best for him. We want him to have the best life he can have. And we're going to give him every opportunity. And we just, hope and pray that, that everybody else will as well. So we also, my biggest thing is, and this is what I tell him this all the time, I hope he grows up to know, that he is fearfully and wonderfully made and in the image of God. And, whatever God's plan and purpose is, he has a plan and purpose for his life. And that's what I pray for. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And I think, in this journey together, we're a little bit ahead of you, but we're in the same journey. I think God puts certain people in place and they become fierce advocates, and there are individuals that have children that are differently abled. And, you talk about purpose and the reason why he is in your life, and the reason, the responsibility that it gives us as parents to, look out for his future, look out for my daughter's future, look out for others' future. It is a responsibility, but, that is what we're here for, is to love one another and to support one another and to build community for one another. And, my daughter, your son, they're part of that community. And we want to see them in that, everyone to see that same thing out of them too. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And in school, my thing is I really want him to be able, to be in a normal classroom or, be in the same classroom, whatever that takes or whatever. That's just something I've always, dreamed and hoped for him, is that, that he will be able to be with the other peers his age.
Yeah.
And, be given that same opportunity, that same chance.
Yeah. I know you'll start thinking about IEPs and the idea.
I've heard that term. I haven't gotten there yet, but I have heard several families talking about it. I follow a good bit. I will say, for any new families that use social media like Facebook or Instagram, that's another resource that I used, especially Instagram, to connect with some other families who were going through our same journey. Even families who their first child had Down syndrome, and just watching their journey and getting to talk with them and connect with them, ask them questions, just being able to see what life looks like, real life reality with a child with syndrome, and be able to give each other advice and just, I don't know, just sharing the love and the journey. That's really helped us as well. So.
This is awesome.
Yeah. I'm always showing Josh, like, look at so-and-so, look what they're, and so we just get so excited, and sharing their accomplishments and their journey as well as Easton. So.
Yeah. Well, my wife, Candy, she's here and she's connecting with some of the comments that are going on. And it would be great to be able to connect in that way and be able people to see, on Facebook, it's your name, but, in some Instagram and stuff, because I think that is helpful. Yeah. As much as junk that's on social media, there's also good things that,
I just do it. I just really am on there to share Easton, so, and just share how happy and just his love and all. So that is what we use it for now. So
yeah, which is awesome. Well, thank y'all. We're so excited for you, and truly, it is such a blessing. And I wish, I don't know if I spoke to you when he was first born, but it's, that I think one of the things as parents that we can do, and when we meet somebody with, a new baby, is explain these things. And the very story that you've told tonight, is so important for people to see, and that are worried that, this helps.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
I was going to get him one more time.
Yeah,
he's busybody.
Yeah.
I know, but he's a sweet
He's a
boy.
little-
That's that's
we're
all good
messing
stuff.
up his play. We're messing up his playtime. He needs
Exactly.
some more play before he goes to bed.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good night, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon. Hopefully this summer we'll all be able to get together and see one another. So
Yeah, I hope so.
I look forward to that time.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Y'all
See
too.
ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you, everybody. So appreciate Adrian and Josh and young Easton, and it's good to reach out and see families. And we plan to do more of this because it's good for others to see new families that are doing accomplishments. It's just great stuff. So thank you all for being here tonight. If you have any questions or any issues, please make comments in the comment section. And if we can answer any questions too, let us know. All right. Y'all have a good night. Thanks so much.